It's time for some team of the season predictions, and in this one today we are going to focus on what blues we could be getting from the Premier League. If you want to improve your ultimate team and need some coins to do so, you should check out my sponsor IG Vault. There's a link to do so in the description, and if you use the code Kieran, you'll get yourself a nice little discount off your order. So as per usual, I do want you guys to get involved, be active in the comment section down below. If you see a pick you disagree with, make sure you let me know, and also tell me which player you would put there instead. One thing just quickly to note, ignore the stats and all that stuff. I've literally just given these cards generic upgrades. We're literally here just to discuss the players because the stats literally could be anything. So yeah, let's go. So Manchester City have without doubt the best defence in the Premier League. So far this year they've only conceded 23 goals, which is like 7 less than the next nearest, which is pretty mad. And their goalkeeper has helped them keep 17 clean sheets this year and is without doubt the goalkeeper with the most clean sheets so far, and it's not looking like anyone is going to catch them. So with that in mind, Ederson I think is a lock for the upcoming team of the season, and it's probably doing him a bit of a disservice, just to mention the defence of Man City, because obviously the defence is good, but Ederson is also a brilliant keeper, and not only is he good in terms of stopping goals, but obviously does help Man City play out the back to actually progress up the field. Aston Villa, by all accounts, have had a pretty strong Premier League campaign thus far, and one of their best players this year and one of their big signings at the start of the season was of course Martinez, and unfortunately for me, being an Arsenal fan, this might be the closest I get to a blue item for an Arsenal player this season. The former Arsenal man has absolutely smashed it since moving to Aston Villa, and in my opinion does deserve a blue item. Some terrific saves this year in a side which obviously they're not going to be, contending for like, top spots, but yeah, they've done well this season. Currently in 11th, and they've conceded 33 goals, which is actually less than a lot of teams that are placed ahead of them. So yeah, credit's got to go to both Martinez and also some of the Aston Villa defence, who, to be fair, are unfortunate not to have more candidates in team of the season predictions, because like Conte's been really good, he could get into the community team season maybe, and also Mings has had a really solid year. Straight up for me, Ruben has been the best centre-back in the Premier League this season, and without a doubt will get a blue card. He just will, and that's all I've got to say on the matter. He's been fantastic for Man City, has ended up being a great recruit, and yeah, easy pick, easy. Now, I think if you'd told me that Luke Shaw was going to be in the upcoming team of the season at the start of the year, I don't think I'd have took you seriously, but he's been class this year. He's been really, really good for Man United, and yeah, I suppose this is what happens when he gets, a good run of games together. For a lot of his career, he has been injury prone, but this year, as I say, he's put a good few amount of games together, and he's been really good. That's all there is to say. He's been very, very impressive in that left full-back role, and I think deserves a blue card this year. So yeah, could be a great card too. Like we've already touched on, Man City have had a very good season in terms of defending, and that's why a lot of their players do feature heavy in my team season squad in the defensive roles. Another one is John Stones. Once again, just a really good season from him, and played a lot of the year at centre-back, but also has played a right full-back kind of cover role as well. Man City have experimented a bit, and they've gone with a free-back in some games, and Stones has obviously played in quite a few positions across the back line. Very good passer of the ball as well, and has obviously helped Manchester City progress up the field, and as I say, I think he'll make it in. Next up, we have Chelsea's Reece James, who is another defender who has just had a really, really nice season. 25 games, 1 goal and 2 assists so far for him in the Premier League, but it's more defensively that he's really shined. Obviously, the modern day fullback is pretty, offensive, but Reece James is just very, very solid defensively, so just off the back of that, I think he deserves a spot this year, because as I say, he has been very, very good. Another option from Chelsea, which I honestly haven't included, is Thiago Silva, who I think has had a very, very good year for Chelsea, and yeah, I definitely think he's an option, but I'm going to go for Reece James from them instead. It might seem a bit boring, but we do have another Manchester City defender. We've got Joao Cancelo, who has kind of played right back, but also right mid, so be interesting to see if EA go with him in a defensive role or in a midfield role. Either way, he deserves it for me, being brilliant on that right edge, and I suspect he will get in as as well. So you've got a team of the season hyperlink between Diaz and Cancelo to probably look out for in FUT Champ sides going forward once the Premier League team season drops. Manchester United star man does of course feature 16 goals and 11 assists for him so far in the Premier League. Pretty crazy numbers, and as I say, I think we all know this card is coming. It's just a case of what rating will EA give it. Will it be higher or lower than Team of the Year, or will it be the same? Ultimately, I think EA held back on Team of the Year ratings. They didn't give a 99 out this year, and I think that's because they want Team of the Season cards to mean a bit more. So I actually think Bruno's Team of the Season card will be higher than his Team of the Year. West Ham have obviously had a really impressive campaign, and because of that, they're likely to have 2, maybe 3 players in the Team of the Season squad. Obviously, one of them we have to mention is Thomas Soucek, who, yeah, he's just chipping in with goals every now and then, which is pretty crazy. 9 goals for him in the Premier League so far, and he's not only been good in terms of getting goals, but also just solid in the midfield as well. So definitely deserving of a spot in my opinion, and he's just going to have a pretty ridiculous card as well. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Should be a very nice item. Another midfielder who has chipped in with a lot of goals is Ilkay Gundogan of Man City. 12 goals for him in 24 Premier League appearances, which is pretty mad when you think about it, especially for a mid. He's without doubt having the best season of his career, and yeah, he's getting a blue. Like, there's no doubt about it. I have like full confidence in a lot of these picks, and this is one that I'm extremely confident on. I would be very shocked if he didn't make it, and I think you will all agree with that. So yeah, once again, it could be a very nice item, and another one that will just be a really well-rounded midfielder. We have Mason Mount up next. Now, I won't lie, I wasn't 100% confident in this pick, but I'm about 85, 90%. I think he deserves it, don't get me wrong, but it's more debating on whether EA will go for it or not. Ultimately, I'm going to decide to go with it. 6 goals and 4 assists for him so far in the Premier League, and he's just been a really consistent performer, even when Chelsea were a bit shaky at the start and obviously did have a managerial change. Like, it's kind of funny because at the start of the season when Frank Lampard kept playing Mount, people were like, why? But then, like, Thomas Tuchel's come in, and he's still getting played, and he's still doing really well. He's clearly a key part of this Chelsea system, no matter who the manager is. He's clearly a key part of the team, and yeah, been very good, and as I say, I think deserving of a spot. Another obvious pick is KDB, Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, insane year from him again. Like, as long as this guy stays fit, he's arguably the best playmaker in the world. He's just ridiculous. 5 goals, 11 assists for him in 24 games. As I say, he has missed a few this year, but yeah, deserving of a spot, easy pick, and I hope he does get a good boost as well, because I actually thought his Team of the Year card, the rating EA gave, was a bit of an insult, so hopefully they boost his Team of the Season item a bit more. Now, this next one's going to be a bit debatable. Like, I don't think anyone will disagree that Lingard's having a ridiculous time at West Ham, but he actually hasn't played too many games for them overall. 9 games this season, 8 goals, 3 assists, but it's the fact that West Ham are just flying so high, and Lingard is just absolutely smashing it. I can't leave him out, because I think he deserves a spot, because yeah, he's clearly having a positive impact on this West Ham side, who are doing really well, and because of that, I've got to include him. I really do. And I also think in general, West Ham just do deserve a lot of inclusions in the upcoming Team of the Week for the great season they are having. So yeah, I'm going to feature him actually in my not starting 23, I guess, my squad of 23, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see EA release him as an SBC instead, or maybe even give him a Team of the Season moments card. We'll obviously have to wait and see, but without a doubt, Lingard deserves some kind of big item at the end of the year. For the final midfielder pick, I am going to go for Youri Tielemans. Now, this one is definitely debatable. I 100% think a Leicester City midfielder is going to get in. It's either going to be Barnes, Tielemans, or Maddison. And ultimately, out of the 3, I've gone with Youri Tielemans just because he's played the most football, he's been the most consistent, and he's also been very good as well. They've all been very good, but I don't feel like more than one will get in. And to be fair, there's also Wilfred Ndidi, who is also worth a mention. So we've got 4 midfielders to choose from. Ultimately, I'm going with the Belgian, but as I say, wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong with this and they go with one of the other 3. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this in the comments. I feel like Jack Grealish is another really easy pick. 6 goals and 10 assists for him so far in the Premier League, and it's also worth mentioning he's actually missed quite a few games as well. He's actually only featured in 22 games out of the 30 that Aston Villa have played, so in a way he's kind of missed 2 months of football, but still putting up some incredible numbers, and as I said, it's just an easy pick. One side who are impressing a lot this year is Leeds United, so obviously they're going to have a couple of candidates for the team of the season. Now their goalkeeper Meslier is definitely someone worth considering, however I don't think he's going to get into the Premier League team this season, but I do think he's got a chance at being in the community / most consistent one. The same, to be fair, can be said for Calvin Phillips. But anyway, on this page we obviously do have the Brazilian winger Raphinha, who I think is looking really good, and I would not be surprised if you see some clubs coming in with big money moves for him at some point, either at the end of this season or the season after, because he is looking like a very good player. 6 goals and 6 assists for him so far this year, and yeah, as I say, he looks a player. We have Phil Foden up next. Now, I've actually looked around a bunch of other people's team of the season predictions, and I have not seen this guy mentioned a lot at all. So I think I might be in the minority on this one, but I think Foden deserves it. He's been really good for Man City this year. Fair enough, he hasn't started too many games, but off the bench, he has been really effective for them, coming on and sometimes just literally winning them games by himself. As I say, 24 games from him in the Premier League this year, 14 of which he has started, and in that game time, he's got himself 6 goals and 5 assists. As I say, you've got to consider the minutes that he's played. Like, his return is very good, and as I say, I think deserving. He's looking really good. I do suspect we'll see a couple of Manchester United team of the season cards coming over the next few weeks, and I think Marcus Rashford has a pretty good shot at getting in. 10 goals and 7 assists for him just seems a no-brainer to me. Now, although Tottenham aren't having a particularly good year, a couple of their players have really stood out. I mean, it's pretty obvious to say Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, of which Son has got 23 direct goal contributions, of which 14 were goals in at the Premier League, and it's just another one of them that just seems an easy, obvious pick for team season predictions for me. Another side which haven't had the season they were expected to is Liverpool, but once again a couple of their players have stood out. Salah, currently the joint top goal scorer in the Premier League, a very obvious pick, and once again should be a fantastic side. It definitely would be interesting to see how Liverpool would have finished the season had Van Dijk stayed fit, but yeah, ultimately they did have trouble with their centre-backs all year long, and because of that they're not in a particularly strong position in the league, but as I say, a couple of their forwards have still stood out. Jamie Vardy is back to pick up his usual team of the season item. This year he's got 12 goals so far, but it's not just the goals that are impressive, it's his contribution numbers, because he's actually got 7 assists as well, which is really nice for a striker, and obviously Leicester having another fairly solid season, currently sat nicely in the top 4. Once again, we come back to another Leeds player, Patrick Bamford, who has just had a ridiculous season. In all honesty, he actually really has, and he 100% deserves a blue card. 21 direct goal contributions from him, of which 14 are goals and the rest are assists, which is yeah, really good numbers. He's in the top 10 for both assists and goals, like just by himself, so that's pretty mad, and yeah, ultimately just an easy pick, really is. Where would Tottenham be without Harry Kane? Like, seriously, where actually would they be? If he leaves, they are in trouble. This season so far, he has the most combined goals and assists of any other player with 32, which is just a crazy number. He's also the joint top goal scorer, and it goes without saying he will get a team of the season item. So that is my 23-man squad for who I think will get themselves a blue card, but there are some more items / players that I do want to discuss that potentially could get objective items, an SBC card, or just something along those lines. We're going to start with Mahrez, who, I won't lie, it was actually hard not to include him in my 23. Obviously, Man City just having a very dominant year, and a lot of the team this season will probably consist of players from them. Very easily, you could put Mahrez in for Foden in my predictions, but I just really want to keep Foden just because I think he deserves it. Mahrez also deserves it, and that's why I think he could get some form of special card along the way. Now, we come on to the next page. We have Kieran Tierney and James Rodriguez. Now, I know what you're going to say, Kieran, an Arsenal player, you're being biased. Yeah, maybe, but I just kind of want to see an Arsenal blue item at the end of the game. I think that would be pretty cool, and I know a lot of people think that maybe Lacazette's got a chance since he is in the top goal scorers in the Premier League, but ultimately, I actually don't think Lacazette deserves a blue item. I think Kieran Tierney has actually been fantastic for Arsenal this year, but obviously injuries have kind of stopped him from having a really good run. Similar to Luke Shaw, I think once Kieran Tierney has a really good solid, injury-free, or at least a minimal injury season, he will 100% get a team season card because he really is a good fullback option. James Rodriguez obviously got off to a flying start in the Premier League this year, but he's missed quite a few games, and because of that, I don't think he'll get a blue, but maybe a moments card would be fitting for him, or possibly a flashback. And then we'll end this video by talking about two potential special Portuguese items. Diogo Jota's card is actually meant to have 94 dribbling. I guess I've just messed up with that, but nonetheless, I think a moments card could happen for him. And then we also have Pedro Neto, who I'm potentially thinking could be like a silver star option, which I think would be really cool if they incorporate that into the team of the season promo. So yeah, fingers crossed for these two because they look pretty awesome. So guys, that's going to do us for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it, or at least found it useful, and if you have, please do remember to leave a like rating on it. Be active in the comments too, let me know your thoughts on what you've seen, who do you agree and disagree with, and also which league should we cover next. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you in the next one.